I was on Meet the Press this morning, and one of the things I wanted to mention, but I didn't quite get a chance to mention, is that the apparent break between Marjorie Taylor Greene and President Trump, the way you're going to see, I think, quite a few Republicans back this Epstein bill in the House, the way that you're beginning to see real fractures within the MAGA movement. I mean, those fractures are quite scary. You have these groypers, these far-right, neo-Nazi Republicans trying to make a bid for leadership within the party. But all of these things together, I think, signal something important, which is the lame duckification of the president. I think the president, as a result of this shutdown, which is quite harmful for his party, his declining popularity, the election victories on Tuesday or a couple Tuesdays ago, all of that is a sign that the president really is a genuine lame duck. And you can think of it this way. They passed tax cuts this year, and obviously the president has his immigration policies, which are being handled through executive order. But outside of executive orders and litigation about executive orders, what actually is the president's agenda these days? Does he have an agenda? Does he have any legislation he hopes to pass? Is there anything on the docket for the White House or the Republican Party other than various forms of political retribution and repression against the people the president has deemed undesirable? Not really. All that stuff is important, of course. I'm not diminishing its importance in terms of people's lives. But just thinking about politics and thinking about the president's standing and thinking about where he'll be, say, next October, the guy is very clearly a lame duck. They ran out of steam quite quickly, and I think we're beginning to see how that's going to play out in practice. I made an analogy on my podcast, and I think it holds here, which is that to win the Civil War, the Confederacy basically had to break the will of the Union in 24 months. If they couldn't do it then, they weren't going to be able to do it. And in the same way, and I can talk about that more later, in the same way, I think to consolidate an authoritarian regime, Trump had to break the spirit of civil society in like 6 to 8 months, and they couldn't do it. And it's not so much that defeat is guaranteed for them, but that if defeat does come, I think the past month will be seen as the beginning of the end.